What you know about me? I've seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? I've done it all, just want it all. Oh, what you know about me? I've seen it all, heard it all. Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me? Oh, what you know about me?
Hey y'all, welcome back to another episode of More Than a Title. This is episode 157, y'all. 157. We've been talking our asses off, Keni. We've been partying, baby. For first-time listeners, man, you know how it is, man. I'm Jarrett. I'm your host, Chief Revenue Officer at Outside the Box Digital. And you know I got my brother, my brethren, your favorite CEO, Chadeo. What's good, baby?
You know how we like to do it, man. First of all, happy Monday, man. Happy Monday. You know what it is. Start the week off. I mean, if y'all going to start the week off, why not start it off with us? What better way to start your week? Start it off with your favorite podcast, More Than the Title. You know how we like to start every show, man. G.R.O.W.T.H, grateful and thankful. I wanna just send out our sincerest condolences and everybody to the Jones family. You understand what I'm saying? We lost a legend. We lost a fucking icon in the music game. And I want to start this show off by dedicating it to him and just saying to the Jones family, man, we send our sincerest condolences and our prayers out to your family. That's why we start the show, every show, with G&T, grateful and thankful. The G is for being grateful that we get a chance to wake up another day and just do what we love and see the people we love and just enjoy one more day at this thing called life, man. And the thankful is for everybody that is our village, the supporters, the fans, everybody that has done anything negative and positive, right? Negative and positive to help us along our journey to get here where we are today. G&T, you know what it is.
And it's been a hell of a journey, man. So shout out to all platforms. Actually, yesterday night we hit 600,000. It's official year on YouTube. We hit 600,000 views on YouTube.
Yeah.
We appreciate y'all. We growing and glowing, man.
Yeah.
And we couldn't do this without you. Y'all keep us going. It's a tough battle, and we're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep pushing and give y'all great content like we got planned for you today.
That's a fact.
You dig? And with that said, well, let's quick house cleaning. Shout out to our girl. Shout out to the Live Podcast Network. First woman-owned, black-owned podcast network, the largest black-owned podcast network in the world. So if you want more content, like More Than the Title, make sure you get your phone out, scan the QR code, and make sure you support your creators, because half of your subscription goes to your content creators of choice. And Big Sis was just doing it up. She just had the AWS Amazon startup pitch. It was an amazing event.
So I want to say this, man. I want to say thank you. I want to say thank you for all of you guys that have already downloaded the app. You're not going unnoticed. The app is moving extremely, extremely well. We're so proud of it. And we've gotten nothing but positive feedback, not only from the users, right? Not only from the users, but from companies and other people that are looking at the app to try to recreate what we have over here at Alive. So everybody's talking about what kind of platform this thing is, man. So we want to say thank you once again, right? Without y'all, you know, we can't bring this thing to you the way we do.
Shout out to the Revolt collab. You're gonna see more content on Revolt, man. We're doing a lot
Absolutely. Got a lot of big things, man.
Sis,
Yeah,
man.
that's a fact.
Shout out to Sis. But with that said, let's do what we do, man.
Let's start the show.
Let's give this brother the proper intro. So first of all, I'm gonna give you a little background before I give you the proper intro, brother.
Okay.
First of all, me and this brother Keni has been connected for 3 years, man, and he's one of those brothers that doesn't sway from the mission, man. He's unapologetically him, and he creates opportunities for us, man. Like real talk, there's only so many of us that's doing what we need to do in the industry and actually say the shit that needs to be said in some of those rooms or a platform like LinkedIn. It'd be a lot of crickets sometimes, brother. So I just want to commend you for that. You know what I'm saying? For being who you are, and we're gonna give you the proper intro, you know what I'm saying, and make it happen, baby. Hold up. Oh, don't tell me. Oh, I was gonna say my damn intro done left me. Oh, no, but it's right back, baby.
Listen, you an artist. You an artist. Do it up the week. Freestyling.
His brother is transforming the landscape of diversity, equity, and inclusion. So in addition to his consulting, his brother is a powerhouse behind 100 Roses from Concrete, which is an organization dedicated to diversifying the advertising and marketing industry. He leads operations that foster network and collaboration, professional growth for all underrepresented talent. And also through his flagship growth initiative, him and his team provide multicultural students with hands-on agency experience to make sure you're ready and make sure the industry reflects the needs of the people. You know what I mean? Plus, he has a Take Two program that focuses on mentoring professionals over 40, helping them re-enter the space. So we know ageism is a real thing, and this brother's tackling head on. So this brother is also the lead diversity creative at Keni Thacker LLC and the founder of 100 Roses from Concrete. Let's introduce our brother, Keni Thacker, y'all. Doing a lot, baby. Doing a lot. I love helping the youngins, and you're helping
Welcome to the show, man. Just so you know, we're going to talk about that ageism thing because
it's a big time.
We haven't really tackled that on this show, so I'm glad Kenny's doing that because that is a real-time thing that we actually need to dive deep into and discuss that. So I'm glad you brought that up.
Yeah,
man. Well, welcome to the show, brother.
Welcome to the show, Kenny.
Thank you. And just to kind of reiterate what Chad said, I just want to give like 10 seconds to Q real quick because he's like a huge influence of mine. I was just telling somebody today when I unfortunately heard the news. I was like, I have a presentation where I have a slide that says, I don't want to be like Mike, I want to be like Quincy.
Oh,
message. And I said that because Quincy just had like this gift. And we don't have time to talk about all his gifts, right? But the way he had the gift of orchestrating great people to make beautiful art. And that's something that I try to mimic in my everyday life as I work with people from all walks, shades, sizes, gender orientations, colors, everything, you know. I try to have that quality that Quincy had, unfortunately now past tense had. But that's what I try to do. I always vision myself like Quincy meets like Nick Fury because I'm also trying to build superheroes in real time. So, but that's who I am.
I like where you going. 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 Yeah.
But that's just who I am, and that's just how I live my life. I just try to pull because obviously both of you know about like what music producers do, they just kind of pull all the elements together and just make something that's fire. And that's what I've been trying my best to do over the last 5 years, especially through my different organizations that I run, is just like pull the right people together at the right time in their journeys and just, kind of either make them stars or have them at least flying towards the star that they want to reach at the end of the day. And Quincy, when I saw that text from one of my college roommates today, I was just like, my reply was just no.
Yeah.
Like no, because especially in the music industry, I don't want to get too deep into the music industry part, but I feel like we've lost so many icons in Black music this year that it's just tearing me up inside. From Fat Man Scoop to Quincy and others, too many to mention. Like,
listen,
last 2 years, Clark Kent,
Clark Kent, man,
like K Slay,
K Slay, man, we lost a lot.
Like, this is my childhood. These are the people that scored my childhood. And for them to just go. I understand everybody got to go sometime, but like it hits different. It hits different.
The key word to that, Kenny, is representation, man. You have people that are put on this earth, and the impact that they have will transcend their lifespan. You understand what I'm saying? And Quincy Jones, Fat Man Scoop, and Clark Kent, they were instrumental in shaping our culture. To be responsible for doing something is one thing. For be responsible, okay, I did this, or I made this, I did that. To be responsible and say, I helped shape generations of our culture is something completely different,
man. The realest, man. It's one thing to be a part of the culture, and it's one thing to create the culture.
That's a fact.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
And nurture it. And nurture it. Create it and nurture it, Jarrett. Create it and nurture it. Because these men were very powerful, but
that's real.
The only thing I can say to that is we are looking for now, right? With these people passing, we're going to see who's going to step up right now. Like life is a cycle, the cycle of life, the circle of life. Who's going to be the next person to step up and continue on the work from where we are and help us get to the next level?
Yeah, well, well, I volunteer as tribute. Like I'm gonna do, on my end of things.
Yeah.
I'm gonna continue, to be a cultivator of culture, especially when it comes to just giving people the tools they need to be successful, in the advertising and marketing biz. Like, if this was a sign of anything, it's like keep going,
Keep going.
There you
keep
go.
going.
Keep going.
So that's the only sign
Usually
that I
we
got.
start, Kenny. We start with like how you got into the industry, but now
Yeah.
to be honest, I want to talk about this. I saw something on Ad Week. You said you went to Con in 2016, right? You went to Con in 2016, and you you didn't like the black representation there, bro. So
I
like, just tell me
didn't.
how that moment changed your life, bro, and how did it open
Dude.
up what's going on in the industry?
Dude, let me tell you. And actually, I think I talked about that too today. No, did I talk about France today? No. But okay, so that trip was kind of bittersweet. But I would say more on the bitter side. I was there for work with the agency that I was working for at the time. Unfortunately, that agency doesn't exist anymore, so rest in pieces. But I was there, only black male on the team that was even with the team that went. So that was already one thing. But basically my days and nights, I was kind of like just the only brother there. And as cool as it was to be in the south of France and all that stuff, yeah, cool, whatever. But I found myself eating alone most of the time at like lunchtime. And I mean, literally, there's thousands of people there. And this is the funny part to the story, but then I get angry. But the funny part to the story was that the only brother that I knew there, I bumped into at the airport coming home. Because I was checking my bag. I was just, kind of, checking my surroundings. And I looked over like maybe 6 to 8 feet, saw my man Keith Cartwright. Shout out to my homie Keith Cartwright. And I was like, Keith? And he was like, Kenny? It's like, yo, you been here all week? He was like, yeah. But he had been there a bunch of times. And I was like, yo, is it always like this? He was like, yeah, pretty much.
Shit.
And I was like, wow. So, he was like putting me on to game because literally I've known Keith since the first agency where I worked. And he was putting me on the game. And I was like, oh, this is ridiculous. So the minute I got off the plane at JFK, I just went on like a rant. I went on like, I don't know if it was probably a Twitter rant. And I was just like, spent the last couple of days south of France at the Cannes, festival and everything like that. But I was like, it's easier to be a black actor or actress and be in a commercial than it is to be a black employee at an advertising agency.
Message.
Whew. And I was like, this is ridiculous. This is ridiculous because there's just so much measuring. Let me put it that way. Every company there is trying to measure, right? Trying to have the coolest party. I'm all transparency. Every day was I like hanging out and working on a yacht? Yes, but that's not the flex. It was me being the only one there. And just thinking about like, if there was more of us here, people would be exposed to just this high level, at least, according to their standards, high levels of creativity that are there and people like that. But, unfortunately, that's not what was happening in 2016. Now, ever since 2016, like it has incrementally gotten browner. I'm not going to say it's Wakanda. I doubt that. But
this motherfucker don't miss.
No, he's fucking
coming through swishing. Coming through swishing.
Let's go.
I mean, it's far from that, but I know there's been different entities that I know that have been working to make it just a little bit more browner than it was back in 2016. So, shout out to them, and they're doing their thing. But I want, at least this is my personal want, as it incrementally gets black and browner, I want to make sure that it's getting that, but also opportunities are a result of that, not just another, however, if they're my age or they're your age or they're younger, just to say, oh, I was there and nothing changed as far as their career trajectory. I want them being there, being in that, you know, area or that festival, but moving and shaking and coming out with something that's going to take them to that next level. Because just saying you're there, who cares, right? I could say I went to McDonald's. Okay, so what? Nobody cares. Now, if I went to McDonald's and I bought some food and I ate, that changes how I'm thinking about things and how I want to move. Message. But if I'm just going,
yeah.
But if I'm just going to stand in McDonald's and then when I walk out, I'm still hungry.
Yeah.
One of us is not doing our job.
Yeah.
But let's talk about that, bro. Because I don't know if you know this. I was actually one of Khan's first Black employees. So I was selling the archive. So I was one of the people that was calling people that were working in the advertising industry, selling them back the works of the past industry. So you know how to, create entries because you're doing $500, $1,000 an entry. And
we've submitted work. That shit wasn't
you know the vibe. So I'm just giving people the context, right? So I didn't know what it was. I'm gonna keep it real, which I thought it was the fucking film festival. I just came from advertising and landed in the
same place, same strip. Yeah,
same strip, right? So, but the thing is, right? You win a con, right? You win the award. When I was working there, it was equivalent to $1 million in new business if you won one award. Right? The equivalent to $1 million. So if you got an agency and you win that award, you might be a $50,000, $60,000 agency, but if you did a creative work that went viral or something like that, $1 million because people want to hit you up. The problem is creative that created that work doesn't get the visibility because most times you're working on a team and that team is really diverse. So who are they going to go to? And so how do you know what I'm saying? How do you break that down? Or who gets the opportunity and who doesn't? So like that's why we've had Dre on. Shout out to Walt. Walt's in the building. Shout out to my guy.
Yeah. Big homie. That's the homie. That's the homie.
So how do we value that, right? Like, because what opportunities does come of that? Because we're still this.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean,
also
I haven't been back since, and honestly, I don't even know if I want to go back since. I mean, people ask me like, "Yo, Ken, are you going this year?" I'm like, "What for? Like, what am I going to get out of it?" Like I run a diversity advertising nonprofit. Like what am I going to get out of it? Because when I was there, like there was people, that great conversations, la di da, but get back to the States, they act like they don't know you, and that's just the fact. So it's like I'm not going to bust like $5,000 to go there, and then not be guaranteed like any type of return on the investment of just going there and trying to get into this event, trying to get into that event. And all that, like, just not worth my time. I'd rather be 10 toes down here in the States, trying to make it happen than being over there. Now, look, if they want to pay me to be on a panel, cool. But I'm not coming out of pocket just to be literally ghosted when I get back to the States. Like, and then bump into them like somewhere. They're like, oh, yeah. Like, really?
Yeah.
So,
we got a term, Kenny, that I think you'll truly appreciate. It's called impact over metrics. And we actually our business model is actually designed to work around that statement, right? We actually had a contract to go to Cannes this year and we turned it down. Okay. So we should have been there this year. We had every plan to go, but we were only going in a capacity to go there and accomplish something. Because the contract and the terms and the conditions didn't read the way we felt like we could go there and get something done, we turned it down. So understand that we're on the same type of time as you, right? Me and my cousin is like, bro, we can travel, right? We can travel, we can go, like you said, south of France, the Amalfi, I'm off the Amalfi Coast, all that shit is cute, but what are we actually doing there, right? Are we gonna go there and connect with people, right? We had so many of our previous guests that were actually there, right? So now we're like, how do we cultivate us going? What is the experience going to look like? How do we now show this visually to not only the people that can't be there, but the brands that aren't there, that don't have any type of representation there? This is what it needs to look like if you're going to send a team there, and this is what your team needs to accomplish while they are there, right? Because at the end of the day, again, it's impact over metrics. How are we moving this culture forward?
That's a fact,
you know what I mean?
Love it. I love it.
We turned it down, man, and
that's why we turned up something like Black Week, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, shout out to Walt. Like that.
Shout out to the whole clan. Shout out to the whole Black Week clan. That was the vibe. That was a good vibe. I was glad I was able to be there I think I was there pretty much every day. I was incognito, but I was there every day. It was good to be in that space, and just I know probably, I don't know, 80% of the cats of the founders. Hopefully I get to know some of the other 20%, but everyone, they showed love. They definitely showed love to 100 Roses, because we've been doing this for a minute, and they were like, y'all been doing this for a while. I was like, yeah, we have. I was like, I respect, I accept the love any day, because this is hard work at the end of the day, and to be able to do what we do, but then also be in that space and share that whatever those couple of days was a great thing. So yeah, shout out to Wald and all those good, Gabrielle, the whole team, Andre, yeah, just the whole team. I got love for all of them. Those are my folks. I got a lot of love for them, and I'm proud what they were able to accomplish in this inaugural year. So I'm looking forward. Hopefully there's more in years to come. We'll see.
Yeah, we're gonna do a recap tomorrow, man. Like, but bro, it was one moment we was in there, and I was just looking around like, God, I've been in the industry 12 years. I've never experienced some shit like that.
Yeah,
there was
to me, it was a little bittersweet, right? Because like I brought some of my gifts. I saw one of my gifts just pop up, Erica. But I brought some of my gifts. Those are my gifts to the industry. Those are my growth initiative fellows. I call them gifts for short. But being at stuff at like Black Week, or it's Ad Color, or is it like Where Are the Black People, or things like that. And when the youngins are with me and they're like, oh my God, this is so cool with all the Black and brown people. And I'm like, yeah, but this is everybody. We can fill up one room. This is bullshit.
That's real.
That's real.
I'm like,
that's real.
That was real. It's a beautiful thing. It's like homecoming, right? Regardless of where you went to school, it's kind of like homecoming, because you're seeing, cats that you ain't seen in a minute. But it's like, or if it's like Black Week, it's a lot of like East Coast people, but I did see some of my West Coast people. But it's like, if we can just fill up like one room, even if it's just 300 of us, it's rare that more than 3 people work at the same agency.
All right, yeah.
So okay, cool. 300 people in one room, but after it's over, everybody goes back to their different agencies. 300 different agencies, and are like the only Black male in the room, the only Black woman, the only Latina, only Latin guy, only Asian dude, Asian woman in the room, gay guy, non-binary. They all go back to their little silo of little agencies, because there's so many agencies out there. And that's if their agency even cared enough to send them to something like that. One thing that I wished that was more of there, I wish there was more white people. I'm just keep it a buck.
Okay.
Oh, I ain't mad at that.
They need to understand how we move in those type of spaces. They need to understand what we're talking about in those type of spaces. I guarantee you, some of the panels there, the topic was probably the same as a topic as a panel in Cannes, except the panel in Cannes was probably all non-people of color, whereas the panels at Black Week were all people of color.
Message.
So if to the 600,000 people that hopefully catch whiff of this video, like talk to your CTOs and your CFOs, and even group creative directors and stuff like that. Like, they need to be in spaces like Black Week. They really, really do, because we're talking about the same shit that they're talking about at whatever during like Ad Week, right? Like Ad Week conferences, right? They're talking about the same shit, but it's just different because 80% of the panels, or not 90% of the panels, are full of people of color. They need to make it just as much as a priority as Advertising Week, Cannes, and whatever else goes on. Whatever the thing in Vegas, like
yes, all that shit. Yeah.
It needs to be on the schedule of places where they show face, but not just show face, but be like, you know what? This is probably gonna be a good environment for me to meet young Black and brown talent, because the excuses, as far as I'm concerned, are over with. I'm done with the excuses that we can't find Black and brown talent. We're here. We've been here for hundreds of years, but you need to be in the spaces where we're actually kind of just looking for a shot. because not everybody's going to have the luxury to know a chief creative officer or a creative director or an account manager or a chief strategy officer. Like everyone doesn't have that in. Everybody doesn't have that in. And I've met young people from all over the country that literally save up all year to go to like things like Where Are the Black People things like that, because they're like, this is my shot. But I remember maybe 2 years ago, because not 2023, maybe 2022, I was on a panel at Where Are the Black People. So shout out to Adrian and the whole crew over there. I was on a panel with my homeboy Nate, my sister Kaya, and my sister Destiny. And I was on stage and I made a bet. I was like, look, there are so many talented young people here. I bet $1,000 that no one here hires 10% of the people that they met here today. And like all my nieces and my nephews in the audience, they go on betting money again. But I was being honest.
Yeah.
Because even if there's 500 people there, 10% of 500 people, that's not a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's not a lot of people. And agencies have failed over and over again by showing up to great events like Black Week and Where Are the Black People and all the others, but not really having a game plan, right? Not really having that coach to be like, okay, we're going to bust a couple grand on this conference. You better bring back something good to me. You better bring me back the finest you can meet. And even if they're not like the finest grade of talent, maybe we can work with them and get them where we need to be. And let me tell you something.
Yeah, you
if,
talk.
If a young person is brought into a place and like, you know what, we're going to build you up, they will take a lower salary if they know they're going to be built up to eventually get that salary that they need. If they know that they're going to get the resources to be successful, they'll be like, you know what? Yeah, I wanted to come in at 75. I'll take 65 because y'all are going to build me up.
Yeah.
2 years, y'all can give me the 75 if y'all commit to it.
Yeah.
Look, you got 2 years of paying that cat to 65. Then you jump to the 75 in the third year.
Yeah.
But you're building them up so they're worth that 75 or even more. That's what true, as you said, impact over metrics, right, Chad?
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. I want to tell you this. I want to tell you this, Kenny. You 100% right. One thing that I just we keep talking about this. One thing that we have to give the environment, because okay, the founders created Black Week, but it was the people and the people's energy that made Black Week what it was.
Yeah.
One thing that I took away from Black Week that I've almost, and when Jarrett says like we've never felt this before, was that it wasn't the just stuffiness of an ad week. It wasn't just we're all in the room, but everybody's in their own corner on their phone, on their laptops type situation. This was an environment where people, you could feel the energy that people wanted to connect, that wanted to, you know what I'm saying, get to know who you were. There was everybody had a title there. Let's not ever get this thing like, you know what I mean? There were people that were CEOs. Everybody had a title, but nobody was walking around, well, my title better than yours or my company. But everybody was, you know how many conversations we had, Kenny? And I mean like real conversations, right? I'm talking like, yo, who are you? What do you do?
Yeah.
Take my information. How do we work together? Even if, like you said, let's do a percentage game, right? Out of 100 conversations, even if you only get 1 or 2% of those conversations that actually, you know, ends up developing something, it's still worth the conversation. See, the problem with our community is, and the problem with what you're talking about is the conversations are not being had. That's the key right there. These agencies are showing up, but they're not having the conversation.
Because Chad, it's the logo game. It's the logo game, right?
Yeah.
So, you know, you get your logo on the step and repeat or at the bottom of, you know, the website, and you're there amongst,
checking
you know,
the box.
So you're amongst Ciroc and Diageo and whoever, VML and whoever. So like we there. And then if the agency does this if they do have like a white paper that they put out at the end of the year, they can be like, yeah, we went, right? But no one is questioning, so you went, so like, what'd you get out of it?
Right.
No one's questioning that. No one's
Right.
questioning that. So like when I work with companies, like I'm asking, I'm like, so what did you sponsor this year? And they're like, oh, well, we sponsored this, we sponsored that. I'm like, but what did you get out of it?
Right.
Because if not, then you're wasting 5 to 10, 20 grand or whatever just to have your logo up. Like nobody cares, dude. Like nobody cares if your logo's up there unless you're really making that change. Because I know our younger, our nieces and nephews out there, they probably do see the logos like, oh my God, this place sponsor, I'm going.
I can go get there and I'm gonna work for them. They know what it is. And no, they don't know what it is.
Sometimes they're not even there.
Bing
Sometimes they're not. Sometimes they're not even there. Yeah, their logo's there so they can like report it at the end of the year, but sometimes there's not even a representative. And if there is a representative, sometimes it's just one. It's not even more than one because they probably blew all the money on the sponsorship, right? they probably blew all the money on the sponsorship.
And you're too seasoned.
Don't have enough money for the tickets.
Kenny, you're too seasoned.
Good.
So this is,
I love it, bro.
Let's talk about the challenge, right? Let's talk about the challenge then, Kenny, right? One of the things that we did, so we did a lot of interviews there.
Yeah.
But one of the things that we did in almost every interview that we did was we challenged our guests. We challenged them.
Everybody.
First challenge. This is the inaugural year for Black Week. Congratulations, you're here. Do not show up next year in the same position that you are in right now. Right?
Yeah.
Here's the challenge. What are you going to get out of Black Week? How is Black Week going to affect you moving forward? What's your policies going to be? You know what I mean? What is your strategies going to be with now implementing what you learned here with hiring new talent that looks like us and things of that nature. So we were challenging everybody that we met to be better. Just be better. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's it. We don't want the soundbite.
Yeah.
We said right on camera. We don't want the soundbite, bro. If you're gonna sit there and talk to us, you and give us the love, show us the love. Make sure that the love is reciprocated. Make sure that when I hit you up on Tuesday, it's all good. Can we make something out? I might have a play for you. Most of the time, we'll keep it real, Kenny. We won't even ask. We'll set up plays that you don't even see, just to connect two people. It don't even matter.
Yeah.
We get on the phone, you just need to talk. What y'all gonna get? Work it out, figure it out, and we just challenge you to do that at least.
Yeah, I mean, and the part that's, I love that, but it's a shame that we have to beg for it almost. Like that, it has to be a challenge. This should just be second nature.
Yeah.
This should be part of fucking business. Like that's what it should be.
Cut the shit.
I'm gonna cut the shit. No, you going crazy.
Because diversity is a business. The lack of diversity is a business problem. Like it's been said like a million times over again. So I know I'm preaching to the choir, to especially the people that are listening today. But it's a business problem. It's not we can't buy. No, it's a business problem. So whoever making those business decisions sucks if you only have like 3 to 4% African Americans, another 6% Latinos, another maybe 7% Asian Americans, and everybody else white. You have a business problem that you're refusing to solve because you kind of like the way things work in the Archie Bunker days, right? Even though now you're super cool because you're young, you're maybe late 40s, early 50s, and you wear jeans, so you're kind of cool or whatever. But and you take your kids to Coachella, but whatever, dude. Like you got a business problem. Message. You have a serious business problem.
Yes.
And until these cats, figure it out. Like I'm gonna keep saying stuff like this because, Jared, you know me, man. I'll speak my mind.
Keep it real. No,
so
yeah.
But that's the part that really just drives me insane, and especially when you see agencies now. Some agencies, I'm not gonna say all, but as you see some agencies now, since Quincy's in the spirit of this call, but as you see some agencies now literally doing the moonwalk when it comes to diversity.
Yeah,
they're going backwards. They're going backwards. And it's not as exciting as seeing Michael do it on the Motown Awards, back when we were like little kids, right? It's despicable when you see them doing the moonwalk. And I've had even agency like leaders tell me like, yeah, we're kind of coming backwards and like there's nothing we can do about it. Yeah, there is something you can do about it. You should have had these safeguards in place. Okay, you lost a client here, you lost a client there. It sucks and it happens, but we need to figure out ways to safeguard so we just don't go back to from an agency that was maybe 70-30 to an agency that's now 95.
The problem is
or 95 and 5.
safeguarding.
My math is sometimes screwy,
Nah,
but
it's all good.
but like, you know, we need to be able to maintain our commitments even in the face of bad times. Even in the face of bad times, we need to be able, regardless if it's losing clients or God forbid, like another global pandemic, like we need to be able to safeguard that so it doesn't look like, well, we're just saving us.
No, that's you're absolutely correct, bro.
That's mission statement though.
But that the problem is though, we're
Yeah.
not the ones doing the safeguarding.
Yeah.
So until a bunch of us come together and say, first of all, we know we have some of the best creatives, right? So if we got some of the best creatives, who's going to take the risk, right? We're not a lot of people going to take that risk to say, yo, we could lose a couple of clients, but the work we're going to do is going to be impeccable. It's going to show the culture. It's going to be what we want to do. It's going to be the right thing to do. And that's hard to do. Who's going to do that, bro? We're doing it. And we're telling you this fucking hard.
It's hard, but we have to have faith in the rebound. Okay. You have to have faith in the rebound. It's not going to be easy. Someone's going to always try to swat the ball out of your hands, and Lord knows I suck at sports. All my sports references are horrible. But but you have to have faith in the rebound. You have to have faith in it, because if you don't have faith in the rebound that you're going to win, then of course you're going to lose.
Well, I mean, again,
yeah.
Impact over metrics, Kenny. What is the bottom line goal of your company, right?
Yeah.
This is a real life question, right? Doesn't matter what product you offer. Do you want to offer a product, or are you providing something that's going to change the culture, move the culture forward? And we're talking every culture, right? Or are you just in business to make as much money as possible and then check off a couple boxes so that you don't seem like, you understand what I'm saying? Exactly. So, for example, right? Like, again, like, just using our business as an example, because we believe in leading by example, right? There are companies that we will not do business with, that we've been given opportunities to do business with, but your bottom line does not align with impact over metrics. Yeah. So we're willing to lose a couple dollars for it, and we're willing to take the longer route, and whatever you want an analogy to say, that it is okay for us to understand that financially we might not get the windfall that we would have gotten if we would have taken that deal. But guess what? Our ROI is not based in money. You see, here's the key right here. We understand that business have operating costs. We're businessmen. We understand that fully, right? We understand you need to keep the lights on, and investors, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, if your goal is not very simple as what do we need to do as a company to move the culture forward? Truly, then this is always going to fall on deaf ears, and they're going to repeat the cycle indefinitely. You understand? Unless we now take charge and go, you know what? You're not supporting our culture to our likeness. And because we have a GDP of $1.3 trillion, we're not going to fuck with your company no more and shut you down. You see, you see what I'm saying?
That's what it's got to be.
Right.
Right. I mean, it's come to the point now that they're giving us no excuse but to go nuclear, in my opinion. Like back in my agency days, I always had an idea. I mean, it's very radical. It's a very radical idea. But I was like, imagine if all the people of color walked off the job for one day, like a day without color in the office. Like what would they do?
Yeah.
Like what would happen? Like if we just all all the people of color, like we all came to work like a regular day, and like you know 10 o'clock on the dot, everybody's like we gonna have a field trip day. Right. We're just gonna enjoy our black and brown selves today, and we're just gonna be out. Like would they even notice though? Because there's so few of us. Would they even notice? Right?
Yeah.
I think think company by company they wouldn't notice, but what it would have to be, have to be a statement and a movement behind it, right?
Yeah.
Now let's talk intention. Let's talk intentions.
Mm-hmm.
Walking off the job, okay, all that shit is cool.
Yeah.
But what's our purpose of doing that? Now, if we walked off the job and all these black and brown people in whatever area you was at, like Shan's did, which I absolutely loved. If all the black and brown people walked off the job and then walked to a black and brown business and said, now all of us are here to support that business. Now we talking. Now in 50 states, now in all the states, you got an influx of just crowds and crowds of black and brown people to say, I work at an agency, I work here, I might run my own business, but today we're here in support of your business. Then it becomes a movement, right? So we have to be careful with just doing things without, intentions and a game plan of, once again, what's the impact on the culture of what we're doing in this moment. So yeah, we walk off the job, but now, okay, we walked off the job, but what are we doing? Now we done went and supported 100, 200 different black and brown businesses, right?
Exactly.
Now that becomes a movement, right? Now that becomes something where people are like, holy shit, look at the power of what we did in just one day.
Absolutely.
One day.
Incredible. As we're talking to, brother, because you said you went to Con, the agency shut down. What was the moment that you bet on yourself? What was the reasoning? Your mission is different, bro. So what was this bet? Why this bet and when?
So the Con thing was 2016. I left in 2019, right?
Okay.
But I left in 2019 out of frustration, to be totally honest with you, because I was putting on a lot of different like diversity initiatives and things of that nature, and my signature one that I created in particularly when I got back from Cannes, but too long of a story to tell. But I created this like monumentous program for college and high school kids to expose them to advertising. So you mentioned, in my intro, which was perfect, you mentioned, the G.R.O.W.T.H initiative. Shout out to G.R.O.W.T.H initiative. So before the G.R.O.W.T initiative, I had something else. So the G.R.O.W.T initiative is that program, but on steroids, right? Because it's mine and I own it. Unlike when I was doing it on the agency side. But my frustration came from that the program that I was doing for the agency, I guess maybe it was a gentleman's agreement, but it was that, okay, so I'm bringing all these black and brown kids, even a couple white kids, every week teaching about advertising and everything like that. But the goal was for them to like be an alternative source or a pipeline of talent at the end of the day. So especially like the ones that were in college, and if they were like about to graduate from college, interview them at least.
Yeah.
Not one of my kids got interviewed before I resigned.
Damn.
And
and why fake the funk? Why?
And I was so angry, and I was like, I gotta go. But before I went, the global CEO at the time, she called me into her office. No shade to her. She's great, wherever she is in the world right now. But I printed out a page, and I had the pictures of all of the young kids that went through my program, black, white, whatever. And I was like, see this? All of these young people went through my program over the last 3 years. This one's at agency, this one. 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 This one's at agency, this. This one's here. This one's there. This one's there. I was like, this is why I'm leaving, because there was a conversation about at least interviewing them. And they were at big agencies and small agencies, and even brand side. Yeah. And I'm like, y'all had the opportunity.
You had the farm system. You had the pipeline talent.
And y'all didn't even move. And I was like, this is why I'm leaving. She's like, oh, so who's gonna take over? I was like, nobody, because nobody cares like I do.
But big bro, who started the initiative? Did they come to you, or did you go to them?
I came. I went to them.
I just had to clarify.
I went to them. I went to them because it was like kind of like ringing in my mind.
Got you.
Before I even went to Cannes, but I was like, how do I pull this off? But when I did it, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get involved in like New York City, like colleges, and then the Manhattan Early College of Advertising downtown, which is a high school college, like kind of hybrid, very, very cool school. And the funny thing even about the G.R.O.W.T.H initiative is that I had the idea for the G.R.O.W.T.H initiative when I was in year 2 of that other program, because I was like, I want to expand it across the country. And they were like, ha ha ha, how would that even work?
Hmm.
And I was like, well, we can like do it over like video conferencing. How
Yeah.
would that even work?
Yeah.
I launched the Growth Initiative in the middle of COVID.
Hmm.
First year, 54 fellows. Second year, 48. Third year, 22. Fourth year, 22. Fifth year, 22. We've had 200 kids go through the Growth Initiative.
Right.
Oh, but how is it going to work? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Hmm. That's real.
So,
it becomes a point where
Hmm.
accountability must be mandatory instead of optional.
Yeah.
You see, the problem is we're still
That's my next
having
tattoo.
like
the shit fast enough. Shit froze on me.
you know what it is, Keni. See, at this point, not enough of us are detached from playing the game. Not enough of us are unapologetic, and they're like, we say it on the show all the time, and I'm with you, Keni, and I'm telling you, like, my frustration is through the fucking roof, man. I'm just like, why do we keep allowing these things to be an option and you still keep playing the game? And I say it all the time, like, what else do we have to fucking lose? What else do we have to lose? We don't own nothing. They own everything. We create everything, but then we have to lease it to them or give it to them to put it out because we don't own distribution centers. We don't own nothing. So we create it and then they profit from it and then they turn it into what they want to turn it into and distort our art and our creativity into what they decide they want it to be, right? But it has to become a point where we stop making it an option and saying, this is what accountability looks like. Because at the end of the day, companies always hire because there's always a cycle of people getting promoted, moving on to different jobs, etc. So there is no fucking excuse that you're telling me. There's no excuse that a company could ever give me that say that you telling me that you could not even interview one person. No. Hold on, let me get this straight. And I would have took it a step further and said, okay, we started this program and we did this blah, blah. And the time that I started the program and then the time how many people have you interviewed at this company for work? Tell me right now. Because there's a number and they know what that number is. How many people have gotten jobs since I've started this, since I introduced this to y'all, et cetera, et cetera. And then you say, that's what I'm talking about. You have no fucking excuse. You're not doing it. Very simple fact that you just don't want to do it. And instead of just being honest and saying it, you're running in fucking circles.
But so first of all, how do you even make that ask at the organization? And what kind of, like, what was, can you just tell us one of the creatives that you made for them to obviously, because ROI is everything. What was the creative, bro, to even bring that up?
I went straight to the source. I went to my brother, shout out to my brother, Brent Choi out in Canada. He was the chief creative officer at the time. He believed in me. And I pitched them the idea, but I also told them, I was like, nobody's doing this in this industry right now. This is 2016. This is like summer 2016. So this is, years before, kind of like the big boom of like diversity within advertising, even though we've been talking about it for years, right?
Yeah.
So since this is a creative idea, Brent was the perfect person to bring it to. Also a man of color. So he got it. He got it immediately. He was, because as soon as I presented it to him, he's like, yeah, can you PDF this to me? I'm gonna present it in the leadership meeting. He presented it in the leadership meeting. They were like, so Brent, where did you get this? He was like, from Keni. They were like, oh, we got to do this. And I was like, and that program was born right then and there. And then I think I launched it like that. I presented it in the summer. We launched it in like February, and it was even like talked about in like one of the global meetings because I was actually in the room, and they were like, yeah, that's the guy that created it, the black dude, the only black dude here that's in the corner. but because my dreams for it was to make it like like a global thing, like have this program in India and in South Africa and in the Amsterdam office, the London office, but like you would thought they had 100-pound weights on their arms or something like that, or they were trying to do curls with 100-pound dumbbells and they just couldn't lift it up. Like, so having it just be New York was fine with me as to start it, but my dreams were so much bigger because not only was I giving them experience, every single ad that they made in that program, I put on TV. I put it on. and that was between like 16 and 19. And then now with, you know, the growth initiative, I mean, I'm proud to say we put 13 ads on TV. That's been on local TV, cable TV, you know, raised millions of dollars in free media for nonprofit organizations. But, you know, that's when
You going too?
going
That's a horn, baby. You gotta
but doing it on my own,
Mm.
I was able to shred the red tape and do things so much faster. Obviously, do it with team, you know, a bunch of professionals that I respect, that I've had the pleasure of handpicking every single person on my team. And we've just been able to really make it happen for these college students around the country, regardless if they go to PWIs, HBCUs, community colleges. You know, we've been able to work with them all. I mean, literally 2 weeks ago, yeah, well, a little bit under 2 weeks ago, we were up at Syracuse University talking to students there, and then, you know, we're 10 toes down at Temple every single year, and we're City Tech, we're there 10 toes down, Baruch College 10 toes down, especially since COVID, you know, has been over and everything like that. But if not, we do things on Zoom. So we just try to reach out to as many young people as possible. This summer we had a young man from Alaska in the program. He not only was he's from, I always got to brag about him because that's my nephew, but Alaska, indigenous, trans, but brilliant young guy that we had you know, in the program. And the first question I had for him when I interviewed him, I was like, dude, how the fuck you find out about it? You're in fucking Alaska. He was like, oh, just kind of, you know, going through the web and just, you know, finding things, and but, you know, finding a program that's actually all young people of color is really hard to find.
Yeah.
So I was like, well, you know, we here, and, you know, he had a great summer. So shout out to you know, to Anthony out in Alaska. And, you know, and we, because we want to make more gains within the indigenous community, because, you know, we've nailed down Black people, Latinos, even white people, right? We've nailed that down, Asian folks, but we need to get into our Native communities as well and help them out, because their reputation, you think Black people representation is low, imagine how low indigenous representation is. So like anything that we can do to help our Black and brown, indigenous folks, Asian folks, like we just gonna be there. We're going places that a lot of people don't, a lot of organizations that have way more money than us and way more bigger sponsors than we do. We're going in the places that they won't go, because we will never be like, oh, we're too cool to say our applications are open, just go apply. No, we want to shake hands and, you know, talk to these young cats and kind of find out what their hopes and dreams are, and hopefully they can make those hopes and dreams when they're in our program. And
That's
you know, to be 21 and a commercial under your belt ain't half bad.
Come on,
ain't
man.
half bad.
Come on, Keni, quick question, man. Like,
yes, sir.
If you could listen, so we got a lot of we have a lot of young people that's in the industry. We have a lot of people that are entrepreneurs. What's a piece of advice that you give to somebody that's entering the industry space, the advertising space right now? Like what's a sell? What's a hook or something? You know, we gotta give them a tidbit so we can clip this up and get some more people involved.
I mean, a piece of advice,
especially for us, man, because I landed on this by accident.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I'm saying? The context.
Like, because I do not have this fabulous story on how I got into advertising, or I was in this program, I was in that program, because they just didn't come to historically Black colleges. So like, I just didn't. I fell into this a couple years post graduating from college. But I would say this. I would say, get ready for a culture shock. I don't know if you can even prepare yourself for a culture shock, because I know they get inspired by seeing like the big ads, whether it's a Super Bowl, you know, NBA finals. I mean, just, you know, the baseball finals and all that. I mean, whatever play. I told you my sports references are horrible. They see the big ads during those big like cultural experiences in our country. And my advice to them is like, really do your research on those ads and where they came from. Like who's the AOR for Budweiser? Who's the AOR for Nike? Who's the AOR, right? And then really then look at, because you can all of this stuff on the internet. You can find all this information. And then really dig to see like, who are these people that are working on it? And do they even look like me? And if you have so much confidence that you're like, I don't care that they don't look like me. I know I'm smart. I know I can do this work. Good. then step into that gladiator's dome, because it is like the gladiator.
Message.
Only the strongest and best ideas kind of rise to the top. And sometimes those ideas aren't even like the best ones, because don't forget, if you're on the agency side, the client still needs to approve it. So if your client is like super conservative, don't think that you're going to have Glorilla in your spot.
Yeah, my fault. Hayes, it's agency of record. I didn't want to stop you. I would have said it for all the people that all the homies. Agency of record. So if you got a Budweiser, they got an agency that does basically all of their commercials. They may have an agency for their digital spend, but the agency of record is the one that oversees all of it.
Yep.
And some of these brands have in-house agencies as well. Yep. So I would just say, you know, do your research, see who worked on it, and if you can like pull out a name or two, I mean, shoot your shot. Reach out to them, whatever medium you feel most comfortable on. Shoot your shot and be like, hey, you know, Walter Gear, I saw you worked on Black Health Matters. I really admire that work. I'm interested in advertising. You know, maybe Walt will hit you back. He's actually good at hitting people back. So I mean, and there's tons of other people names I want to drop, but I don't want them to get a million emails by tomorrow. But like, shoot your shot, but do your research on it, because you want to make sure that it's someone that can kind of relate to your journey just a little bit. And if not, still shoot your shot. Hit up Matt McDonald. That's a white dude that I used to work with. Cool ECD. I don't even know which agency he's at now, but he's still killing shit. But you know, just do your research. But also make sure. And we talked about this in regards to like that impact and that metrics. But make sure that agency is an environment where you can actually be nurtured and succeed. Right. Kind of see like how many Black ECDs do they have? Most probably none, but check anyway, because Black ECDs is probably about like 10 to 20 in the entire industry. Let's just be honest.
That's right.
But just kind of check to see like, you know, who's there and stuff like that. And even if you can't, you know, reach them, maybe it's like, you know, their middle copywriter or art director or something like that. You know, people there is a small percentage of people that are genuinely want to help, like the next generation of cats that are coming through, or even people that are trying to transition into this industry. And that's one thing that we talk a lot about in the older folks program that we have, the Take Two program, is that, you know, there's people that have useful skills that can transfer into advertising and marketing. Absolutely. So one beautiful thing, Jarrett, about Black Week was that one of my graduates from the Take Two program, she was there. And this sister is like a couple years younger than me. I mean, I'm old as dirt, right? So I'm like 49. I think Justina is probably like 46 or something like that. And shout out to Justina out in Oregon. But she came into my program doing real estate. She was making money. She was doing just fine. But she was like, I'm tired of doing this. And like, my heart is more into like advertising and marketing. So, you know, she did 12 weeks with us. She did another program after us. After that program, she landed at her first agency. Now she's at her second agency, managing about 8 brands.
Come on.
So,
but I do want to say though, but you know, a lot of us, you know, bro, we come from just having to be able to recognize the red flag, come from a place of privilege. Some of us just looking to get a foot in the door, and sometimes that foot in the door is bullshit. Like saying, I've had to cut hair for raises. I've had to go through the ringer, bro, to get to where I was at. To the point that I got to my career where I said, you know what, I'm gonna build a brand so I can do my own thing. And then when I built the brand and got the millions, I'm like, holy shit, you still think I'm this? Then I got to do this. You know what I'm saying? So, but it comes from a place of privilege, bro. Sometimes we gotta just get in where we fit in, because there's only 10 ECDs. All of us got to get in. Everybody got to eat, man. Right now, life is life and like a motherfucker.
Yeah, it truly is. It truly is. I mean, you ain't never lie.
Yeah, man.
You ain't never lie.
Keeping it real,
so,
bro.
I mean, I could be wrong. I mean,
no, you keeping it real.
I mean, it's either between 10 and 20, but maybe there's more, and some of those other folks are just not on my radar or whatever the case may be. But I mean, it's even less when it comes to even like Black women and like Latinas and even Asian women. Like it's even less. The percentages just get smaller and smaller. It's still a dude's game. Sad to say. I mean, things are changing slowly but surely. But this, when I think about Nipsey, Nipsey said it's a marathon, that it is. But the crazy thing is that unfortunately, after that boom, a lot of people thought this is going to be a dash. And I told people, I was like, yo, talk to me in 2 years.
Yeah.
Talk to me in 2 years after 2020. And then that's when the moonwalk started happening.
Yeah.
And it's been kind of like a moonwalk ever since. I mean, there are still some companies, some big and small, that are still holding strong, but they're just not the majority, because everyone thought they could dash to the finish line thinking like, oh, I'm just gonna bring in more Black people. That's gonna solve my DEI problem. No,
Right.
it doesn't, because you're only concentrating on the D. You're not
Right.
thinking about the E, which is equity, and you're not thinking
Equity.
about inclusion. You're not thinking about how do you create an environment that they can be successful in. So,
Right.
so what? Build your little like mini Wakanda that's gonna last you about a year and a half. Then you steal all the vibranium anyway. Then you let them go.
Right.
Right. So it's just.
But what is the KPI of achieve diversity office? How do you prove value in that role? And I think that's why a lot of them are moonwalking, because they're not able to attribute what their revenue is to the talent. It's a lot of different variables. You know what I'm saying, Kenny?
Yeah. No. You're making total sense. But the KPIs is that if you're going to hire them and you're going to be intentional about hiring them, then put them in opportunities where they can win and they can bring you in that money. Message. So if you get this, killer ass art director, copywriter, whatever the case may be, put them where you think they would shine the most, where they would bring the culture and make it work. Like, just don't bring them in to just
they don't understand where we can shine. There's a lot of times that's why we started More Than a Title. Yep. That's the exact reason. Because I'm sitting there as a salesperson and I'm like, I'm generating millions of fucking impressions. Why am I not talking to the marketing person? But you want to see me in this silo, and I'm just this and I'm just that. Me and Cuzzo could develop your whole fucking website. We can develop an SEO strategy, with social media strategy. We can do it all. But you're gonna put me in this box, and we're not doing that shit. And then I had to leave, bro. That's the same shit.
I'm glad you guys said that, because one thing that COVID did do was it kind of woke us up as a culture. Hear me out a little bit, right? There were more millionaires generated in COVID, Black and brown people opening up businesses successfully in COVID than probably any other. Remember, this is a natural, what they call it, a natural, it was what am I looking for? Like a worldwide pandemic. This is a pandemic, like this affected the world, right? But this is what I'm saying, right? So here's the thing, Kenny, right? Once again, I don't want to put everything, I believe in leading by example.
Yeah.
We can't keep putting the onus on the company and not putting the onus on ourselves as individuals. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm glad my cousin said what he said, right?
Yeah.
It comes a certain point in time where we got to look at each other and go, well, I'm the man over here, and you're the man over there, and she's the man over there, that, she's the woman over there, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we're doing all of these things for all of these companies that are not benefiting. And we keep crying about it. Why don't we just fucking all leave once again? Instead of just leaving for a day, how about we just all leave and come together and form our own fucking company? I think we have to stop being afraid.
It's
to
fair.
step out and develop our own thing, because at the end of the day, a salary does not really generate wealth, right? Let's just be honest, right? A salary will keep you content, and it can generate a lifestyle that you can provide for your family, but it doesn't generate wealth, and it doesn't generate opportunities for you to now pass this wealth down, knowledge-wise, economic. You understand what I'm saying?
You need multiple revenue streams.
There we go. So now what we need to do is, because you get a job, you do what you do, and then you get fired. Then you get another job, you do what you do, and then whatever, you get fired, you move on to another company. So where's the stability in that shit anyway? You don't have to. It's not like we're getting these jobs and people are like, well, I'm saying I've been here 20 years. No, that's not the case. So I'm saying, like, you're losing anyway. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have a false idea that you have a safety net underneath you when there's no fucking safety net there. So what we need to do, Kenny, is really like start saying, like, what do we really want to accomplish? And if they don't understand and we understand and we not doing it, then technically we're just as guilty as they are. You understand what I'm saying? So now,
100%.
and I'll give you an example, Kenny. Like I did construction for like 20 years, right? Once I got to a position of authority, foreman, superintendent, et cetera, before I actually eventually opened up my own construction company, the moment I got in power, my whole crew was black.
There you go.
I don't care, black, brown, you know, Latin, whatever the case may be, but ethnic. And I held them accountable. You understand what I'm saying? And I said, listen, yeah, I'm going to put you guys on and I'm going to give you guys an opportunity, but be clear. This is not a fucking handout, right? Once again, accountability. This is not a handout. This is not a freebie. Understand the position that I'm in by even making this move. I'm putting myself out there already, showing something. You understand? Now, if you guys don't back me and do what the fuck you got to do, I'm going to fire your ass. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, it's not many of us doing this. So I can't afford for you to take advantage of this situation and think that this is an everyday thing, because it is not. You understand what I'm saying? So this is what I'm saying. I think that a lot of us and everybody might not have the knowledge or the resources to do so, but those that have it, right? I think there needs to be more people that come together and form these groups and say, let's do it together. Because at the end of the day, yeah, you might take a hit financially, but if you get fired, you took the hit financially any fucking way. You understand what I'm saying? Instead of bouncing around from company to company and trying to insert yourself into their programming, trying to insert yourself into their system, hoping that it fosters growth, et cetera, why don't you just develop a system within yourselves? And you know what the system is, and you know all the problems. So you have the answers, and you can create this system where now when you start to develop this thing and scale this thing, people can come in and you can say, look what we created, and we know that this is gonna, you know, give us everything that we need. This is all I'm saying, Kenny. Like we need more people to go to that ledge and be like, I'm jumping.
I'm jumping.
Yeah.
Not everybody gonna jump, but you know what? Another good point. Yeah. We talked about the ageism, bro. I know we seen it flowing and going, bro. I do want to talk about the ageism. How you think it affect the industry with AI and all that stuff, bro? Because I know talented creators right now that are 45 that worked at the biggest brands in the world can't get something back.
Yeah. AI is not going to make it any easier, needless to say, because AI has also been incorporated into just the hiring process, right?
Absolutely.
So like people aren't physically looking at resumes anymore. It's basically AI kind of like going through, whether it's hundreds of resumes or maybe it's not hundreds of resumes, but still the AI is kind of picking and choosing based on keywords, who is worthy of an interview. So if your resume kind of screams that you know Chad's background, like you were in construction, even though you do have transferable skills, but if it's not in like quote unquote advertising lingo, they're just gonna be like, well, he can't work here, even though he managed 30 guys and girls. It doesn't matter because his lingo is more construction based versus like advertising based. So I think AI is making ageism even worse, but then post that, even when you do get to the actual interview process, I posted, I don't know if you saw this post that I did like maybe 2 weeks ago. I said, dear gatekeepers, have you checked your bias today? Because there's
that was real.
This gonna get this. What I'm about to say is probably gonna get me mad hate, but I've said it on other podcasts.
Keep it real, bro.
They can come after me, but I got.
Hold on. So listen.
No, 7th period.
7th period. Let's go.
7th period. Let's go.
Let's go.
So the interesting thing that I've noticed, and maybe I'm looking at it from the wrong angle, but I'm looking at it from the Kenny angle, so that's all that fucking matters. But most departments, right? Most departments, like you can study that in school. Yeah. But the one course that I haven't seen at any college is talent recruitment.
Okay.
That's right.
And pretty much like it's just a who you know type of job. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's certain things that you need to know, I guess. But like I've seen people walk into that job with just like no credentials.
Okay.
right? So I just find it so interesting sometimes that you can kind of walk into this role, maybe learn from an OG on the team, whatever the case may be, but it's not what you went to school for. So it's not like you went to Miami Ad School or you went to City College or any, any school, right? But somehow you can just kind of slide in here and somehow you're good enough to make judgments based on other people's talents.
Yeah.
And that's the part. I mean, I guess I've been talking about a lot of things that tick me off today, but like, that's one thing that I'm just like, yeah, there's not even, maybe there are certificate courses in talent recruitment. I haven't seen any, but maybe there are, but it's just like, to me, I just find it so rich when someone else, regardless of how old or young they are, can judge someone else based on their talents when you don't even have a degree in this.
I say that shit. That was my biggest problem. That's why we bet on ourselves. I used to go in a room, bro, and be like, yeah, you know what? I generated this amount of impressions. And guess what? I created an inbound engine where people come to me and I didn't have to do outbound calling. And I'm talking 23, 24-year-old that knows nothing about my shit. And I got to recycle that shit, repurpose that shit, re-talk to somebody else, tell somebody the same story. And it gets like, yo, what are we doing here?
Well, and this is now I'm just quoting posts that I made, but I said one thing that don't get confused. All these agencies say they want rock stars when they want background singers and roadies.
Bing bong.
So time out. Wait,
2 seasons
right there. So when we talk ageism, that's my thing with it right there, right?
There it goes.
A lot of people are gonna say, I don't want somebody that's going to come in and try to change what we're doing, right? Because with ageism normally comes experience, right? Because you've gone through the bullshit already so many times, you're going to come in with a completely different attitude than somebody that's fresh off the streets, right? It's the mindset of the machine and how you're going to react to it, right? Because any industry that you get into, when you're new, you don't know what you're doing, so you kind of learn it and you got to go through things. But after you've gone through things, after a certain period of time, you're like, this is my line. I'm not ABC. I'm not taking this. I'm not standing for this. And I think that lies the problem there, because they feel like once you're past a certain age, you don't have the ability to learn and be moldable anymore. You understand what I'm saying? And they don't want somebody coming in being too disruptive to the system. That's the first beef I have about it. The second beef that I have about it with the ageism thing, and we see this across multiple industries, is again, because you have so much experience, you're coming in at a different price point. Now, do I get this kid that just came out of college, right? Do I get this kid that just came out of college,
that would take a lower
30,000, right? Who's gonna make mistakes, who I know is not going to be the top performer for me, but he's moldable, et cetera, or do I take this person that's been in the game for 20 years? That's like, I need at least 70. And here are my terms and my conditions. You understand?
And this is how I'm negotiating. We're talking equity and all that.
There we go.
Guy.
There we go.
Well, and Chad, if you don't mind me like wrapping that with a bow, but like, at least in my opinion, wouldn't a company want a rock rather than someone that's going to crumble at the slightest?
Okay, well, let's go with that. Let's go with that. Perfect example of what you're talking about is, because we're in New York, let me just use the New York City education system. A veteran teacher at full pay, 120, 130, 140. If they leave the school that they're in, it's almost impossible for them, unless they know the principal or something, connect to get another job at another school, because the principal of the other school is going to say, I can hire 3 teachers for your 1 salary. Now, what did you just say, right? But this teacher has 20 years of educational experience, right? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Versus the person that has never taught before a day in their life, fresh out of school. Yeah, I got a fresh little piece of paper in my hand, my degree, but I don't have any experience in the classroom. I don't know how to deal with children. I don't know how to deal with the civic. You see what I'm saying?
140, get Michelle Pfeiffer in Dangerous Minds.
You understand?
For 140, you don't want to.
Rest in peace, Coolio.
And again, right? So look at what you just said. Let's just talk about, and that's a perfect tie-in. You just said there's no degree course for somebody to be a talent scout, right? So there's no degree course for somebody to be a talent scout and scout talent, but just let's just look at the educational system in general. What are we talking about? Do we want the most experienced, best teachers for our youth because we actually care about the development of the next generations that are eventually going to take over? Or do we want somebody that's going to fit the budget, fuck up a bunch of times, and we could kind of be like, well, as long as you don't do nothing too crazy, we can deal with you. And the reality of the situation is the system is showing you it's the latter. They will prefer to save the budget, hire a lot less inexperienced teachers, and guess who's suffering from it? Our culture, right?
You gotta listen to him. You can learn something.
That's a perfect example of ageism being used in real time.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about elevation. I believe personally that a lot of these companies do not have a system in place for guaranteed elevation. You should not be in the same position you are if you've been with a company 10, 15 years. That's just absolute stupidity to me. You understand what I'm saying? If you came in on an entry-level position and you're still there 15 years later, that's a fucking problem, right? You understand what I'm saying? That company and that organization should have things in place to help you develop and move on to higher positions, and then let the fresh new talent go through the entry level programs. That's when I'm telling you right now, I'm a union guy, and that's one of the main reasons I left construction within the union, because of that issue right there. There's 8,000 guys in this union, but the guy that's 50 that has 20 years experience has to fight with now a 17, 18-year-old for the same exact job. How is that possible? Right? And then you expect the same exact performance from the 50-year-old that the 17-year-old is going to give you. And you know, in reality, that's just not feasible, right? He's younger, he's stronger. You understand what I'm saying? So when you have systems in place like that, what it does is it keeps us running in a circle. It's like the hamster on the wheel.
It's a trap. It's a trap. I call it a trap.
It's a fucking
call it a trap.
And if we don't acknowledge that within ourselves and say, okay, yeah, I've been making a couple dollars and yeah, I feel like I got some stability, but I'm not moving. I'm not elevating. We have to take it upon ourselves to leave. To leave.
And that was the case when I was at that agency. When I resigned, I left with the same job that I had when I started. And even though I created all these things, I wrote, produced, directed documentaries about Black and brown folks, created these programs, made 3 commercials for nonprofits, did all this stuff. And, I felt like it was getting me nowhere because I was just kind of running in place exactly how Chad described. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to start my own thing. Like, cause that's the only way. And someone even told me that someone from HR, and, I'm not going to say their name, but like someone from HR told me that, like, one of like the heads of HR was like, yeah, I think Keni would probably be better off if he just started his own thing. And I was like, wow, I've been here all this years, and this is the piece of advice you have for me after making all these ads, multiple documentaries. We were probably the first kind of video like vlog show to talk about diversity within advertising. We did like, I don't know, 27 episodes in like 4 months. Like, we were doing all this like stuff like back in like 2012, like 2013, before, like putting out content people putting out content back then, but now like everybody's putting out content, right? Like, we were doing this like back in 12 and 13. So like when I heard that, I was like, yeah, watch what I'm about to do. And literally 2 weeks, or I don't know how long it was, but not that long after I had resigned from that agency, like, I'm in Ad Week already. And then when I went back, like, someone invited me to an event at that agency, like, Keni, how you doing? I was like, I'm great. I was in Ad Week last week. I'm doing just fine. Just fine. I'm doing just fine. Just fine.
Let me, we got to ask you this, Keni, bro.
Yes, sir.
What was one of the toughest obstacles when you jumped off the porch and started your own business? What was some of the toughest obstacles? I'll tell you, for me, one of the most heartbreaking ones is the fact that we create something for the culture, for brothers like you can come in, be unapologetic. We can talk about, we can be us. They can see what it is. But guess what? We've never done business with a Black brand. That hurts me. So I wonder, what is one of the toughest obstacles for you, bro?
Start now or now?
Shit, both.
Starting out. I mean, keep it a buck. Money. That was it. Money. Money was a big thing. But also engagement. And I mean, engagement is still a little bit of an issue. Just getting people, because since we're a nonprofit, I work with basically all volunteers. I mean, I have like one employee. Shout out to Maya in Detroit. But like just engagement sometimes with the members, because obviously all of the members of my organization are in the industry, right? And sometimes they feel the moonwalk, right? They feel the moonwalk of their said companies. And so sometimes it's like, why do I even get involved in something like 100 Roses when agencies are doing the moonwalk anyway? Let me just like kind of play it safe and do my day job and things of that nature. But I mean, I have to say, for my core, members in the Rose Garden, like they give me 110%, regardless if it's my executive board or my advisory board or just members and mentors that come back every single summer and winter. Like, look, they know that this is the only way to push it. If their agencies aren't going to push this message and this movement forward, then at least they can push it through 100 Roses.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, man.
That's why we're here, and that's why the name exists. Obviously, you all know where the name came from, but it came from my experience and talking to a lot of people around the country in my travels, that being a person of color in this industry is like trying to grow a rose from concrete at the end of the day, right? And seeing our counterparts receiving that soil, that sunlight, and that water is not something that happens that often for us, right?
Message.
Maybe a few of us get tapped on the shoulder here and there, but when I created the organization, I wanted to make sure that we can provide our own sunlight, that soil, and that water, and that we can actually be hydroponic and grow in a house. So that's what the Rose Garden is all about. And if you want to ask me, what's the inspiration behind it? That's the inspiration by regardless, if money is an issue or engagement is an issue, it still keeps me going, because I do have a couple of those roses that reach out and be like, dude, I want to be in this industry if it wasn't for what y'all did for us or what you did for me. That makes my day. Or just walking around Black Week and someone sees the hoodie, they're like, oh, love what you do. And I'm like,
Message.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Purpose over profits. Impact over metric.
But I appreciate you and everything like that. But yeah, I would say money is a big thing, because we're still the new kids on the block. Even 5 years in, we're still the new kids on the block. So, since we don't have as many quote unquote big names that are associated with us, like sponsors are sometimes like, oh, you're not like these people over here, or you're not like the shiny suit cats over here. Yeah. So they're kind of used to some of the more organizations, or I say legacy organizations, that have been around for a lot longer than us. And look, those legacy organizations, like I respect them a lot. I've learned from watching them and like attending different things that they do, but it helped me form what I wanted to do with 100 Roses, needless to say. So like this year, next year, I'm very excited about us doing some expansion to the West Coast. We're going to do an event up in the Bay. I literally just bought my plane ticket like yesterday. But we're trying to make sure that we can bring this like Rose Garden. Well, the name of the event is House of Roses, but like this, we can bring the Rose Garden, regardless of just being here in New York, but West Coast, Midwest, even down south. Just bring that community of opportunity, service, and engagement to our folks where we can. And that's just a big thing for me, because I hear from creatives on the West Coast like, yeah, I'm the only Black guy in my department, or I'm the only Black account manager, I'm the only Black strategist, whatever, producer, whatever the case may be. So it's like, if there's anything that I can do to just like kind of cultivate this sense of community and let them know that there is people that you can talk to when you're frustrated, right? And when you can't find them in your office, or if you have ideas that may seem too militant that your agency won't put on, pitch me the idea. Maybe I'll throw some money on it. You know what I mean? I'm more than glad to, fund people's ideas. I mean, as long as they don't cost me too much money, because I ain't got a lot of money. But if it's but like this House of Roses idea, this was it wasn't my idea. This was actually like one of my members' ideas, because I was like, yo, I was like, we got to raise money. And then he came to me with the House of Roses. I was like, cool, let's put some money on it. Let's see what happens. And, now we're taking it to the West Coast next year, and hopefully LA probably later next year too. So like the conversations are happening, but engagement is just such a hard thing, because as our brothers and sisters see this moonwalk, sometimes they get a little jaded. And as you said, Jared, life be lifing, right?
Nice.
So, people have lives and kids and, partners and all that good stuff. So like, I never get mad when I see like, okay, engagement's a little bit low this year or this quarter, whatever the case may be, because I know that, people are dealing just with life, period. Like every day, right?
I got to play devil's advocate though, Kenny.
Yeah.
You know why? Because when we talk engagement, my next question to that would be, how many people are reaching out with the different forms of media that people are involved in to help spread the message? It's no way that you're telling me that it's not enough people to be engaged into that type of an organization and make it extremely successful. I will never believe a statement like that, because it's just too many of us. So now the question is, how many people are reaching out to you that have opportunities to help spread the word? Because it's all about, we talk about advertising and marketing. Who's advertising, right? Who's talking about it, right? Word of mouth is phenomenal, but also aggressive marketing to let people know, like, we are here, we are here, we are here, we exist, and this is what we're about. How has that been in the course of the agency, and in the course of you developing this agency, as far as like marketing, people helping to spread the word? What's your experience like with that?
I wish I had a more positive story, but it's been like slim to none. Slim to none.
See?
But I will say that some of our sponsors have been helping. Right? So like our sponsors are definitely responsible for like a lot of our volunteers that we get in. So like when we have volunteer opportunities, like I'm like, hey guys, I'm looking for mentors. Send this out to your ERGs and your BRGs if anyone wants to be involved. So they have been very helpful in that way.
Let me just step in right now. Let me just step in, because we like I said, we hold ourselves accountable. The next time you got any type of valuable information and you looking for mentors and things of that nature, you reach out to us, man. You reach 100%. Out to us. You reach out to 100%. Us, man. And you don't gotta be a sponsor. You don't gotta be anything. You understand what I'm saying? Because this type of information cannot be safeguarded and gatekept and none of that, right? You reach out to us, and we will help. We will help. Because it always starts with one, right? We will help get that information out there, because we get a lot of views and a lot of impressions. And I guarantee you, a lot of our listeners might not have ever heard of your company, right? You see, that's a problem, right? So I'm extending this to you. You are part of the More Than the Title family. If you have any information that you want us to disseminate, bro, please do not hesitate. You send us that information. You send us whatever graphics you have, and we will gladly, right, help facilitate the dissemination of that information out to the public, because our culture, again, what are we talking about? Our culture needs to know about these programs, because when you're looking at these sponsors and you're looking at when you're looking at these sponsors and you're looking at people to invest, a lot of it it's always numbers related. Well, how many people, how many this, how many that, right? It's always numbers related, right? So the more people that know about it, even if you can't accept all the applications, if you could turn around and say, well, I got 10,000 applications for this program this year. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can show that the want for this program has increased by 40%. And these are all numbers that now you can pitch and say, this program works, and there's a want and a need for this program by the people. Because I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, man, you hit the nail on the head.
I appreciate it.
Like that's why. So I just wanted to give the people context of how this even started. I've known of you from years on LinkedIn, bro, but I didn't even get a chance to meet you. So we moving and grooving, doing what we doing, bro. And then my lady actually got in a conversation with you. She's like, I got a guy named Keni. I said, Keni Thacker? You know, like you talking about him right here? Pull him up, like him right here, like he was just here. Where the fuck you went?
Yeah.
You just here, bro?
Yeah.
And then we got the conversation, and guess what? Hit you up immediately, because we already been in conversation. because
Mhm.
this is the conversation that we need to have. This is what this is
Yeah.
for, bro.
And I told her, I was like, just give me a time, lady. I was like, give me time. I'll do your thing. I was like, you know, I'm never one to say no. To a good podcast. So or
that's real, man. Because
I'm always down for it.
we really doing this shit for us, bro. That's when you came in
Yeah.
the green screen, we was like, this is for us. Nobody's doing like this. We've had, you name everybody, about 80% of Black Week we've interviewed.
Nice.
We was in there, bro. That's why we was moving and grooving the way we did, bro.
Crazy.
He's like, people from Rankable, we did the same thing. We created a podcast for another business. It was a Black-owned business. We were using this as a lead gen strategy to actually close business. Close $2 million of business, wasn't appreciated, and we started our own.
Nice.
And this is what this is. You can come up here, you could be you could talk shit. It is what it is. We have 1, 2 sponsors. Be yourself. You know, and this is what this is for, because there's not too many of us. So anytime you got anything coming up, bro.
I'll send you all some assets for the Take Two program. That's
man.
That we close applications December 1st. So I'll send you
Make it happen.
after this call. I appreciate that. And then when the artwork for the event in the Bay is done, which should be done probably soon, I'll share that with you and the Eventbrite and all that stuff. Because the space is gorgeous in San Francisco. So it's going to be one of probably the first 5 events ever done in this new space for this agency. So it's going to be a good look. And actually, we're giving away a TV. So it's going to be a good time.
I'm just saying, Kenny, it's about resources, brother. And I mean this from the heart, right? We're inner city kids, man. It's about resources. Long story short, I went out this weekend, kind of like hung out with some fellas from the hood. We don't really hang out too much, but in us hanging out, it angered me. I mean, like I blew my fucking lid.
I'm angry all the time
because I'm like, because I'm saying to myself, y'all still fucking acting like this,
thinking like this.
Y'all still fucking thinking like this. But then I had to say to myself, but what other opportunities are being fucking presented to you to change your actions and your mindset from what you are fucking used to? So this is what I'm saying, right? If we are not introducing different possibilities, different resources, and different chances to our community to get them to understand, yes, this is a job, this is a career. You could do this, you could be very successful, you could take those talents and provide for your family, then we have absolutely no excuse for the way that we're fucking turning out. Like, see, this is what I'm saying. Like, we gotta stop the fucking bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? Our communities are underserved. That's the bottom fucking line. Like we talk about back in the day, where we used to get all our information and all our opportunities from a lot was our community center. But our community centers are not what they used to be anymore. You understand what I'm saying? There is no programs there, like, you know, to really help you develop and pick a career and interview skills and resume right there. It's no more.
Damn
It's
sure no
non-existent.
advertising, marketing, or tech.
We're doing it. This lets you know.
There you go. There you go.
But again,
we created our own prep school.
But if nobody knows, Kenny,
Yeah.
but if nobody knows, right? If you build it, they will come as bullshit. Because if nobody knows you fucking built it, where are they going? Where are they going? So I just, like I said,
putting in the work, bro.
Listen, the buck stops here. We don't give a fuck about no other agency you ever dealt with, and we don't care about nobody else that you talk to. The buck stops here. We're gonna take personal accountability for saying we are gonna be a part of your village, and we're gonna help you in any way, shape, form, or fashion. And already by you just talking to us and telling us what you do,
we already got a couple.
We already got plays for you. Like, you don't even realize, right?
We already got a couple plays brewing.
Hey, man, look.
So just expect within the next week or so that we're gonna be like, yo, Kenny, we're gonna set up a time to introduce you to so and so, blah blah blah, and set up a play, because once again, the conversations need to be had. The conversations need to be had.
And they will be had.
I mean, there's a lot of conversations that need to be had, and you know, where we welcome any help that we can get, because like I said before, you know, we grow from inside the house. We're hydroponic, you know, and in order to provide, you know, these services and just, you know, a safe space for our folks, it's very important. And at the same time, you know, working with these nonprofit organizations. So we always call ourselves, you know, creator philanthropists at the end of the day, because we're producing all this work and, you know, covering all the fees for everything like that. So it's literally, we're just giving money away, but it's more in the form of services rather than cash. but the cash is still coming out of our accounts. So it's
Right.
Facts.
same thing.
Yeah.
But
Facts.
we've been given these gifts, as I call them, for a reason. And if we can use these gifts to help our people, and organizations that are helping our people at the end of the day, like, then I feel like our work is done. Not every single day, but as we continue to do this work, better yet, and as we continue to like revolutionize and evolve in this space, because what we provide is valuable. And a lot of there's definitely some people that are catching wind, but we know that this is a marathon, so we're not rushing to do 4 days of like a conference. Even those are great, we probably never do a conference because that's just not our lane.
Right.
But we appreciate those that have created those lanes and have those type of conversations. We're just like 10 toes down, just doing this work and getting these, regardless of how old they are, getting these people into agencies and making sure that they're just able to survive at the end of the day, because it's a culture shock, as I said earlier in the chat. You know what I mean? So that's what we're here to do, and we're gonna just keep doing it.
Bro, I just want to say, man, thank you, bro. Thank you for coming on the show, first off, and thank you for being you and being unapologetic, bro. You came through with you was too motherfucking seasoned. You came through. Sometimes we don't know what to expect, bro. I'm just keeping it real, and you kept it 1,000 and kept it a beat.
Yeah, I mean, I can only be me. I can only be me. I mean, who you see on the screen is the same person I am in person. Like that's just who I am. And I mean, and I know that I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and that's okay. I've accepted that a long time ago. But I also know that even though I'm not your cup of tea, I may be. You might want to try some coffee black, because it is going to be strong. This is going to be strong. And it may be a shot of Henny up in there. Henny with Kenny. That's another nickname.
I'm drinking tea right now because I'm still a little sick. I got a question for you, Kenny.
Yes, sir.
You're building this thing. You're developing this thing. What is the ultimate goal for you with this company? What's the vision? Yeah, what's the vision? When you reach that mountaintop, what would you ultimately like to see to say, now we are successful? This is what I wanted. That what does that?
Somebody asked me this question at Black Week. One of my big sisters that I hadn't hung out with in a long time, who was at Black Week with me, and she was like, "So Kenny, like, what's the thing?" And I was like, So my idea is I want to be the Robin Hood Foundation meets the 4 A's.
Okay.
So the 4 A's is like 51 years old. It's been around for a long time. They do a lot of good stuff within the advertising community and things of that nature. Definitely, has been championing diversity in the advertising industry for a long time. Robin Hood Foundation, as you know, their main goal is to eradicate poverty in New York. So they give out millions and millions of dollars to different nonprofits every single year. So I want to combine giving out resources to organizations. So the future 100 Roses that are out there, I want to be able to give them resources to do great things, but also be able to cultivate talent within the advertising industry as well. So I want to have the financial resources that we can put out there to organizations trying to do great things, but then also be able to have our own programs, obviously, like the Growth Initiative, Take Two, and obviously, we got 100 Roses free agents, and those are people that are looking for jobs. That's like a 300 people community in itself. But being able to kind of make those things happen while also really providing just like resources for the future 100 Roses that someone may have an idea. I meet young people all the time, like, I want to do what you do. I was like, well, it's gonna take fucking money, bitch. So like, but for them to like kind of be able to do their work and obviously have other sources, because you need multiple sources of revenue. But if there's a source of revenue that they can get from me on a steady basis, but obviously show me those KPIs that it's actually working, then they can come back. So that's like a beautiful model that the Robin Hood Foundation has. And years ago, Wifey took me to, because Wifey used to work there, took me to one of their fundraisers. And I never seen so much money raised in one night.
Yeah,
it was
man.
like maybe it was like, I don't know if it was by the time we got there, they're at like 70 million. It was at the G.R.O.W.T.H, but it was, I mean, but you know, everybody was in the audience, you know.
Savage! I'm a savage! Oh! We gotta pay some bills. We'll be right back.
Athletes, you know, TV people, movie people, Wall Street people, you know, it's a really big fundraiser. But the way they just brought in all that money, but also how it goes right back out to all these, like, and we've worked with some of those nonprofits that actually get funding from the Robert Hood Foundation, but like that's the kind of like top of the mountain where I like to be. I don't want to be like, oh, I'm a venture capitalist. No, fuck that shit. I want to be able to actually work with people that are working with people at the end of the day. So like even when you all get a free minute and you go to our site and you see like the ads that we made, you will see that every single client that we've had does something for our people. Or Black and brown people, period. Black and brown people, period. And we're not a one-trick pony. So regardless if it's organization that supports dads, and when I say dads, it could be, you know, single dad, or it could be two dads, or maybe you're raised by your grandfather, or maybe you're raised by your big brother, or maybe you're raised by your sister or your grandmother. But anyone kind of, either they're doing the dual role or they're doing it on their own. You know, we've done that. We've worked with organizations that help children that are aging out of foster care. We've helped organizations that help kids that are either obese or morbidly obese out in Brownsville. We've helped organizations that help restaurant workers' rights. We've helped urban leagues. We've helped organizations that help young kids that are coming out of juvie channel their energy into the art and sell that art. So we're far from a one-trick pony. So I would love to be able to support those organizations, not only creatively, but even in a financial way as well. So like, that's, you know, where we're going. But I mean, because now we still support some organizations financially, but it's very, very small financially.
That's okay.
But I would like to, but it's still, you know, it's like, you know, the money comes in and it goes out. But like, that's like the mountaintop that I'm looking at. I'm looking at, because the 4As, like I said, you know, all due respect to them, you know, they've been around for like 50 years, like a long time. But I'm trying to match that with like that Robin Hood energy and literally deal with, you know, millions of dollars. And also, but take it outside of the Robin Hood idea of just like New York, but make it like America at the end of the day.
Globally.
So playing New York, Dallas, Philly, DC, Detroit, you know, all the places where we got folks, and even some places maybe where we don't got folks, because there's still very few of them. Because there are some cool people that are doing cool stuff in these little pockets of the country that we've never even heard of before. So it's like that's where I see it, and that's where we kind of even find some of our clients. They're like in these small little pockets of America, but they're helping Black and brown people. So like that's what we really want to do, because I know people are struggling here in New York, and we've definitely helped a lot of people here in New York, but there's also a lot of people struggling in other parts of the country as well. So that's the mountaintop, and we're climbing it. You know, we're climbing it. And you know, with help from good friends like the both of you, which I truly appreciate. You know, I know that we're going to make it there, but we're not going to make it there in 50 years. I think we can make it there in 25 years.
There it is.
I want to cut that time down. So we're only 5 years, but 5 times the amount of time that we've been around now. I think we can totally be there, because we're just not stopping. And you know, I know there's a lot of other organizations that are out there and they do great stuff, but one thing that, you know, one of my executive board members, Gary J. Nick, says is that we care different. We care different.
There it is.
So when we bring people together, they're not feeling like, oh, well, you know, all these people were like a part of this. No, we do very, very small groups. So people feel like, you know, you're part of the family at the end of the day. And like, you know, they know your name. And I personally try to make myself accessible to everyone in the organization. So like during the summer, in particular, when we do the growth initiative, but even in the winter with the growth initiative, I have this thing called Chop It Up Fridays. It's like, put time on my calendar if you want to chop it up. We can talk about what's going on in the program. We don't got to talk about shit. We can just talk about life. You know what I mean? Because I often hear sometimes from people that, oh, well, you know, I was in this program, but like, I really didn't get to know the founder that well. And they didn't really get to know me because, you know, I was like nervous or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, No, that's not the kind of founder that I ever wanted to be. I want it to be accessible. Sometimes when I show up for like even intake interviews, people get nervous. I'm like, I'm just Keni, nigga. Like, I put on my pants just like you. You know, like don't get nervous. And I tell them, I was like, don't get nervous because I'm on a call. Just answer it like we've known each other for years, and let's keep it moving. You know what I mean? So like that's just the way I operate, and it's worked for us so far, and I think it's going to continue to work for us. So yeah, but appreciate y'all having me on.
I love what you do.
Really appreciate having me on.
I gotta do one thing.
And we gotta pay some bills. We'll be right back.
70 mil, nigga. We need $70. So what do y'all go? What do y'all go get some merch, get a mug, get a hat, get the courses, how to build relationships and revenue. You know what it is.
Yes, get the merch.
Come on, man.
Yeah.
I know you want to smirk, nigga.
I hate selling merch. So I'm mentoring a young lady that's about to start a nonprofit, and she asked me about merch. I was like, merch is the hardest shit to push. It's the hardest thing to push, merch.
Everything is hard to push, but when you believe in it, it ain't hard to push.
Yeah,
you believe in, man. Because this is what it's for. Once again, the train doesn't stop, man. This is our platform. We told you off camera. This is our platform. Me, a part of the family. We're gonna make some plays happen. We're gonna impact people. We're gonna change it. Whether we make 100 million, we make $1 million, maybe make $100. I don't care what it is. This is what we doing. This is what me and Cuzzo changed our lives for.
I love it.
I love it.
It's a simple answer, man.
I love it.
It's a simple answer. You know, I feel like the world is making this shit too complicated, and they're making it. They
listening, bro. Come on, we hear you.
Shout out to TNT 718. Yes.
Yeah, that's Hayes. That's Hayes. Keni, I think the answer is real simple, man. I'm being honest. Like me being a real fundamental person, I think the answer is just really fucking simple. I just think that everybody's making it too complicated so that you can make excuses for it. You understand? You want to end poverty, you want to end homelessness and all that. Give a motherfucker. How do you end poverty? Give a motherfucker a good paying job. Poverty ended. You understand what I'm saying? And if he doesn't understand that, it's not rocket science. You understand what I'm saying? You want a person to do better, teach him to do better. And if he doesn't have a skill, give him a skill, give him a trade, give him some type of knowledge where they can go out and apply that knowledge and then start making something of themselves. This shit is not fucking hard, Keni. So it baffles me all of the times when like I said, when we run into these situations where I'm like, you got a PhD, you got a master's, and you the fucking head of this, and that. And again, we run into situations where it's like, so as smart as you are and as experienced as you are, you're gonna hire a teacher that's brand new versus somebody for 20 years, and you think that is going to, give the kids coming up the best education possible. Like that's like truly, like, is that the fucking message that you want me to? Like, what are you talking about? Like, you think you're talking to somebody like fucking? Like, you know how they say I was born tonight, but I wasn't born last night, motherfucker. I wasn't even born at night. I was born in the middle of the day. I was born at noon, motherfucker. Like, the sun gonna shine, motherfucker. Like, what are you? But I think that they play. You know what it is? They play on our ignorance, Keni. And this is one of the things that bother me about how they treat us as a people.
Yeah,
they play on our ignorance and our inability to go and seek out information and educate.
Well, because that ignorance is their safe space.
Yeah,
because then they don't feel challenged.
Yeah,
and they don't feel threatened, and they think they can throw anything at us, and we'll just be, oh my God, thank you for the crumbs, sir. And it's like, out of here with that.
Yeah,
it's like there's more. If they feel like the table's too small, we can bring our own chairs. I don't need your chair, and I'll figure out how to extend the table. No one's trying to take from anybody at the end of the day, and I wish that message could get through, but sometimes some people are just hard-headed. But one thing that I've just noticed as I can only speak on Black folk because I'm Black all day and I wake up that way. I'm gonna die that way. But we've always welcomed other folks to our table. Even if we got like, oh, my ass is too big, we gotta squeeze in. We're like, all right, we're gonna squeeze in. Right?
Oh, we don't play that.
Except on the train. Don't try to squeeze in your ass if I'm on the train, motherfucker.
I'll just get up, especially if they start
trying to make me like that.
You know, like don't get me talking about my train antics. Like, I'm glad I work from home, so I don't have to ride the train that often. But when I do, like, I'm just like, oh god. I'm, I'm like, they haven't invented, you know, that Star Trek shit yet. You know, like beam me up, just like send me downtown, Scotty. Like, fuck, the train, Lord, you know. So, like, I mean, we have a long way to go, but obviously, you know, through positive connections like this, and you know, and a lot of the other stuff that some people, you know, are doing in a lot of different other places, like, you know, it makes me hopeful. It makes me hopeful. But I'm still not happy with at the speed that we're going. And that's just me. I feel like, you know, a lot of this stuff could have been done with a long time ago if we were able to put in policies, procedures, and programming in place to protect our people. That's a lot of P's right there. But
I thought that was a part of curriculum. Like, damn, that smooth. Nigga, protection. I'm like, goddamn, proactive.
Yeah. If all of those were in place, and were supported, right? And I think that's the big part, because sometimes, as Jared, you mentioned before, like, you know, sometimes people come and go, but I think the problem is when people come and go, the person that left was really down for those things, and then the person that comes isn't really.
Facts.
So it's like, even though all those things are set in place, that other person doesn't really pick up the baton and be like, oh yeah, we're gonna pick up where Jarrett left off, because he was all about these things, right? They kind of like, oh well, yeah, those things are cool, but like, do we really need to do them? You know. So I feel like we need more people in place that can understand that, and I'm gonna go back to what Chad said, that this isn't rocket science, but sometimes people want to make it rocket science. And it's like, look, if you want to make it rocket science, go to NASA, dude. Like, I'm sure they're hiring. Like, but like this, what we're doing, yes, does it take, you know, a certain level of intelligence and maybe even some school and everything like that. But if you're producing things for the culture, at the end of the day, it should come as second nature.
Message.
If this is your lane. It's not everybody's lane. But if this is your lane, then you need to find ways to not only, you know, make sure policies, procedures, and programming, but also how we protect our people in the process of making sure that that culture is perpetual.
Message.
The P's again.
I love my P's. I love my
P's again.
I love my P's.
I love that shit. That's a clip.
I love my P's. I should eat.
I was going, Kenny. I was going to let you.
Some good old Teddy P. You know, shout out to Philly.
I'm going to let you go. But, you know, I just want to say this, Kenny, man. You know, again, for our culture, we need to see it. We need to hear it to believe it, right? Unfortunately, like, we need to see it. We need to hear it to believe it. So I love the idea of what you're talking about, of having this in every city and every state and things of that nature, right? Because guess what? Once again, if you start putting, let's say, offices or community centers back into these neighborhoods, and start saying, no, I'm here today, I'm gonna be here tomorrow, and we ain't going no fucking where. Then you will start seeing change, because now you're in their face, right? Not only that, but people that start to go through the program become advocates. People that they'll go on and do other things, and some of them are going to want to come back and help grow that. Nah, I'm rooted here.
We always make the alumni come back.
Absolutely, right? So
that's the motto.
That's what I'm talking about. So that's what we need to do. That's why we got to work together towards getting this message out, right? And any opportunity, and I don't care, because guess what? Social media, we love this shit, but it has a very bad way of showing all the bad shit that we do, all the fucking negative shit that we do, but it's not showcasing the phenomenal shit that we're doing. And if it is, it's so small versus the negative shit that it's getting overshadowed. It's getting flushed out extremely quickly, that people don't get a chance to pay attention. But let us start promoting this thing, and let people start promoting this thing and say, no, you know, this is here. You got a little brother, you got a little, it doesn't matter, a little sister, you got somebody that needs fucking help, send them down the block. The community system, you know, and we're there to help, and let's get this shit right. And then you will start seeing change within the community on the ground level, and then we could actually start fast tracking this thing. And that's really what it is, man. Plain and simple, man.
And it's crazy how social media also makes people unsocial.
Yeah, that too. That's a whole different conversation.
Yeah. That's another episode.
Kenny, that's part 2.
Yeah.
That's 168.
Well, like I said, Kenny, you know, you're now a part of the More Than the Title family. So let me just a little bit dive deeper into what that means. You know, we told you what episode this was. We've had over 100 and
that's awesome.
130, 40 guests, whatever. You're now part of the family. What that means is any guest, past and future, that has been on the show and will come on the show, you now have access to. So if you go back and look at anybody in any interview and say, I would love to connect with this person.
Yeah, I saw some people I knew. I was like, oh, hey.
Exactly.
Maybe it was Walt.
Right. So all that. So what we like to do is we like to create a group chat. So I don't know if we have your personal cell phone number. If not,
in the group chat, bro. Just put your number in the group chat so we can start it. If you see people. Put that so it's not in the comments.
Yeah. So what we normally do is we create a group chat with us and our guests, right? That way there's no managers, there's no assistants, there's no middlemen, right? You want to know something or you want to get in contact, you contact us directly, right? There's no bullshit, right?
But
so if you
this chat is just the 3 of us, right?
Yeah. It's just 3 people.
We got you, bro.
I mean, I got some haters, you know, they don't have my phone number.
So if you see anybody that you want to connect with, if you see somebody that you want to connect with, all you do is hit us up. Hey, I would love to, get in touch with so-and-so. We'll set up the video conference. We've done this now dozens of times. We'll set up the video conference. We'll introduce A, this is B, this is A. If you want us to stay in the call, we can. But normally after that, we exit out the call and we allow you guys to do whatever you need to do for free. We don't charge. We don't do none of that. Again, there's no gatekeeping here, right? And like I said, we already have a couple plays in mind that we're already, going to talk about off camera that we're going to try to set up for you again so that you can not only get the resources that you need, but the coverage to show the work that you're doing for our community. Plain and simple.
I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you both. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, we're not playing no gatekeeping shit over here, man. We got coming up next, fellow.
We over it. We're over it now. So tomorrow we got Real Talk. It's election day. We're gonna give you some real election day. We're gonna do a full Black Week coverage. We're gonna talk about the young thug shit, mad shit happening in the culture that we ain't get to talk to. We're gonna keep it real. Come through tomorrow. We got you. Then on Thursday, we got Moshe Gibbs, global marketing partner for Microsoft, coming through on Thursday.
Nice.
Oh man, we got a crazy. I can't even think off the top for 14. I'm so excited, bro.
Let's just say this: November is going to be action packed, but December,
oh my god!
Listen, and ladies and gentlemen, the reason that we're doing, I know a lot of people are like, yo, we didn't even know you guys were going live on a Monday. Be clear, right? A personal goal of ours was to do 100 episodes this year, and we are on track before this year is out to do 100 episodes. You understand? That means sometimes twice a week. That means sometimes three times a week.
Sometimes
but again,
4 times.
Right.
Commitment.
Once again, right? This is us showing you that we here today. We're gonna be here tomorrow. This train ain't stopping. We don't care. And whatever the road looks like, we're willing to travel it. You understand what I'm saying?
And we'll build more roads.
That's a fact. Put the Timbs on. We from New York. We wear Timbs all year round any fucking way.
we been hurting them. Who gives a fuck?
You know what I'm saying? That's what it is, man. And that's what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, we appreciate all the comments. Yo, Kenny, just so you know, right? You didn't get a chance to see a lot of the comments that we didn't put up. A lot of the Instagram is just, sending us a lot of comments and a lot of love, saying that you dropping gems, man, and they appreciate this conversation. We even had a business owner that just started up his own business that stopped in and was like, yo, I started up my own business, but I had to come through and get some gems from y'all and get some knowledge. This is what we're talking about. You see what I'm saying?
I love it.
You might never meet that person that just commented on Instagram because you didn't even see the comment. But again, impact over metrics. That's the ROI that we're chasing, right?
Yeah.
You're reaching the person that actually needs to hear this information, that's going to put this information to good use, that it becomes knowledge, and then we get action behind it. You understand? So y'all know what it is, man. It's more than the title. Kenny already showed you. He had a job. It wasn't working for him, so he decided to do his own thing. Yeah. You know what that means, man? The dream is free. We say it every fucking episode. We're not going to stop saying it, so you understand the dream is free, but the hustle. Well, that's so separately.
We out.
About me.